In 2022 alone, France imported 1,440 tons of uranium from Niger, accounting for 20.2% of the total 7,131 tons imported that year.
If you see me in the streets, better holler at me. Seeking for a beat, throw them dollars at me. I don't like defeat, take that away from me. You tryna be like me, you couldn't handle my story. But we gon' let you know, we gon' let you know. We gon' let you know, we gon' let you know.
Since the military takeover in Niger, there has one request and demand from people of Niger and their new military rulers, which is for France to leave Niger Republic, but France, in the other hand, has refused to leave. And so many people around the world has been asking one question: why is France finding it difficult to leave Niger? Well, in this video, we are going to expose the reason behind this France refusal to leave Niger. But for us to have clear understanding of why France is holding Niger very tight to herself, we need to first understand the French colonial presence in Niger, which will take us back to the region's pre-colonial history. Niger, a landlocked nation in West Africa, was home to various beautiful people, including nomadic tribes, powerful kingdoms, and established trade routes. Prior to European powers' arrival, empires like the Songhai and Bornu exerted their influence, creating a rich tapestry of cultural, economic, and political dynamics. France's interest in West Africa grew in the latter half of the 19th century during the scramble for Africa. The presence of the Niger River drew the French, leading to increased exploratory expeditions and missionary activities. This laid the groundwork for future colonization as French explorers gradually expanded their influence throughout the region. By the late 19th century, France had gained firm control over the Niger River basin and its surrounding territories. This marked the formal establishment of French colonial administration, resulting in the creation of French Sudan, present-day Mali, and Niger. The French exploited the region's resources, including gold, cotton, and peanuts, for their own economic benefit. Under French rule, Niger experienced significant socio-economic and political changes. Indigenous populations were marginalized, their lands taken away, and they often faced forced labor in the flourishing agricultural and mining sectors. French policies disrupted traditional systems and imposed European models of governance, education, and religion, creating a sense of dependency on the colonial administration. The colonization of Niger sparked resistance among various ethnic groups. Figures like Sultan Rabah and the Tuareg resistance played important roles in opposing French presence. However, the French military's superior firepower and tactics gradually weakened these resistance movements, solidifying French control over the region. During the mid-20th century, nationalist movements gained momentum in Niger as Africa underwent significant change. Political organizations such as the Nigerian Progressive Party, PPN, and the Nigerian Democratic Union, UDN, emerged to challenge French rule and advocate for independence. In 1960, Niger finally achieved independence. However, unlike other colonial powers like Britain and Germany, France maintained complex ties with its former colonies, including military presence, economic influence, and close access to heads of state. These was done mostly through secret deals, because then, when most African countries were about to become independent, they were given unfair agreements for their freedom. One rule in these agreements was that whenever any valuable resource was discovered, the old colonizing country had to be asked first if they wanted to buy these resources. In simple terms, if any valuable resource such as crude oil, gold, or uranium, etc. was found, the former colonial power got the first chance to buy it, and this happened with Niger, where France made deals to buy their resources, including uranium, for a very low price. Also, France promised Niger military protection from other countries and bandits who might want to invade them. As a result, they managed to build military base in Niger. With all these and many more, France managed to have its presence in Niger, controlling their resources. So fast forward to today, Niger and her people is asking France to leave, and France says no. Then the big question is, why is France refusing to leave Niger? Okay, let's begin with the first reason, which is quite apparent. France, having been Niger's former colonizer, heavily relies on uranium from Niger. Niger is the seventh largest producer of uranium and one of France's top suppliers in this regard. To operate its 56 nuclear reactors across 18 power plants, France requires over 20% of its uranium from Niger. Orano, a French-owned company, is responsible for mining uranium at 3 different sites in Niger: the Arlit mines, the Akokan mining site, and the Imuraren mine. Niger has been exploited by Orano for years, paying a mere 0.8 euros per kilogram of uranium. However, since the junta assumed control in Niger, they have increased the price of Niger's uranium from 80 cents to 200 euros per kilogram. In comparison, Canada, another uranium supplier to France, sells its uranium at 200 euros per kilogram, while France purchases it from Niger at 80 cents per kilogram. Calculations indicate that Orano alone profits around $54 billion annually from the exploitation of uranium in Niger. The company has been mining uranium in Niger since 1971. Earlier this year, Orano signed new contracts with the Nigerian government, extending French uranium mining in the country until 2040. In 2022 alone, France imported 1,440 tons of uranium from Niger, accounting for 20.2% of the total 7,131 tons imported that year. Niger supplies almost 20% of France's uranium needs and contributes to a fifth of the EU's total uranium imports. It's important to note that European countries previously relied on Russian gas. However, the supply has seemingly ceased due to the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Now, EU countries, including France, are seeking alternative energy sources such as uranium and gas supplies from other nations. While France cannot engage in a confrontation with Russia to obtain gas, they view Niger, their former colony, as an easily accessible source for uranium. In fact, the EU still needs Niger to some extent because it provides them with affordable uranium. However, with the anti-Western junta in power, France and the EU will no longer enjoy the benefits of cheap uranium from Niger. France perceives itself as more capable of handling the Niger junta compared to Russia. This initial reason sheds light on why the French are reluctant to leave Niger. What are your thoughts? Please share your opinions in the comment section. Now let's move on to the second reason. Are you deriving value from this video so far? If yes, please support us so we can make more informative videos for you by subscribing to our channel and giving this video a like. Okay, let's continue. As we know, the EU is facing energy challenges following the disruption of Russian gas supplies. Consequently, they are compelled to seek alternative sources. Additionally, ECOWAS has threatened military intervention in Niger since the junta assumed control. Now let's discuss a less-known project called the Trans-Saharan Gas Pipeline. Yes, many people do not know about this project. The Trans-Saharan Gas Pipeline is a proposed pipeline route that would traverse Niger. It is set to commence in the Warri region of Nigeria, running north through Niger to reach Hassi R'Mel in Algeria. Spanning approximately 4,128 kilometers, with 841 kilometers passing through Niger, the Trans-Saharan Gas Pipeline was initially proposed in the 1970s. In June 2022, energy ministers from Algeria, Niger and Nigeria revived the project due to the urgent need within the EU. The estimated cost of this endeavor is around $13 billion, with an annual supply capacity of about 30 billion cubic meters of gas to Europe. Do you see how this coup poses a threat to one of Nigeria's most ambitious infrastructure projects and its gateway to the European gas market? Nigeria, Africa's largest oil producer but a relatively minor player in the gas sector, has declared the 2020s as the Decade of Gas. However, this plan faces the risk of collapse after the military coup in Niger in July, prompting the Nigeria-led regional bloc ECOWAS to consider deploying troops. The project's continuation relies heavily on Niger. Can you see why France is determined not to withdraw from Niger? Let us know what your opinion is concerning this exposition. What other reasons do you think is keeping France from withdrawing from Niger? Let's know what you think at the comment section.
Creation, reaction, God. Big up TRB family. Misterjaay, I see you. I know some artists don't do this. God bless you and your families.